Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of our official party, the playing of the national anthem, and the invocation delivered by Captain Jordan Akalani.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Lord God, we come to you today in celebration of the accomplishments of the 6 soon-to-be second lieutenants. We thank you for your blessings during their time here at Tuskegee and for allowing them to thrive during their time here. They have persevered through countless tests and have proven themselves to have outstanding potential as Army officers. We thank you for their families and friends who have supported them along the way. We ask that you continue to watch over them and their families as they graduate from Tuskegee University and begin their Army careers. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Sherman Watson, the Professor of Military Science, and Lieutenant Colonel Michael King, the Professor of Aerospace Studies, we would like to welcome you to the 2022 Spring Tuskegee Joint Commissioning Ceremony. Tuskegee University is one of the very few institutions in America that boast all 3 services ROTC programs. Our Navy partners are conducting their ceremony at the Auburn University today. Here today, we have the great privilege to commission 6 young leaders. In just a minute, they will walk across the stage as cadets and then magically transform into second lieutenants, our nation's new leaders. This time I'd like to extend a special welcome to our University President, Dr. Charlotte Morris, other distinguished military guests, university faculty, staff, and of course, the family and supporters of our new commissionees. At this time, I would like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Watson forward to introduce our guest speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Sherman Watson.
Distinguished guests, families, friends, mentors of these future officers of America, good morning, and thank you for being a part of this ceremony. I would like to thank and acknowledge the presence of our honored guest, Madam President, Dr. Charlotte Morris. To each of our newest commissioned officers, on behalf of the cadre and the citizens of this grateful nation, I would like to say thank you for your commitment to lead and care for the soldiers and airmen as you move forward in your career. This morning, I have the honor to introduce the guest speaker. He is no stranger to Tuskegee University and the Golden Tiger ROTC program. Colonel Plummer is a 1994 graduate of Tuskegee University, where he earned his bachelor's degree of Science and Mechanical Engineers. Colonel Plummer has also earned a master's degree in mechanical science from Georgia Institute of Technology and a master's in military art and science degree from the School of Advanced Military Studies. Colonel Plummer started his military service as a U.S. Army Armor Officer, where he has served with distinction for over 28 years and counting. Colonel Plummer's extensive resume is located in the program for your review. He has served in every leadership position from platoon through brigade command. As a staff officer, he has served in positions from tactical to the strategic level. His current assignment is in the Army G Staff in the G8 as the Chief of Soldier, Maneuver, Robotics, and Artificial Intelligence and Synthetic Training Environment Division. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Plummer.
Well, Dr. Morris, President of Tuskegee University, we're so excited that you were able to come today. Thank you very much. And of course, I also want to thank the professors of military science over here, Lieutenant Colonel Michael King and Lieutenant Colonel Sherman Watson. Thank you, gentlemen, for what you've done for the Corps cadets here. And of course, we want to thank the Corps cadets of the Air Force and the Army. Definitely want to thank the family and friends. And actually, I want to point out something here as I look around. I see a number of family members, some in uniform, and I know that some aren't, but you are prior service, or you might even be continuing to serve. So if you are a family member and you are either prior service, veteran, or you're still serving, please stand real quick so we can acknowledge and give you a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you. And you may be seated. Thank you. I got you too, Sergeant Major. I see you over there. But yeah, there you go. You stand up, Sergeant Major. Give a round of applause to Sergeant Major. Whoa, thank you, Sergeant Major. I tell you, I'm so excited because when we talk about, and you may have heard this term about less than 1% serve in our United States military, and it's actually even less than that. And another thing too is that the preponderance of folks coming into the service, they have some family member out there that was serving before that to set that example. And now we continue that cycle, we continue that legacy, and it is just such an honor to have the family members, friends, relatives who were prior service here today. So first of all, thank you all for coming to this Inter-Service Joint Commissioning Ceremony for our Air Force and Army officers. And it's hard to believe, and they already mentioned it, and I was so thankful that Colonel Watson did not read my entire bio, because we'd be here for even longer than what my speech is. But it's hard to believe that a little over 28 years ago, I was here with my parents getting commissioned into military service. And like you all, you're right over there, like you all, I had dreams of going as far as I think I could go. I mean, I had dreams of being successful, but at the same time, when you had those successful aspirations, I also had those thoughts about one day coming back to Tuskegee and giving back. And when you think about it, as I progress through the ranks, as you continue to look forward, don't forget to look back. And it doesn't matter what rank you're at. Even as a lieutenant, you can look back to the cadets. Even as a captain, you can look back to lieutenants. You can continue to go all the way up and continue to look back. And the neat thing is, I get more joy out of seeing others get promoted than I do myself. I get more joy about inspiring others, my subordinates, or for that matter, even my peers, than I do inspiring myself. And as I continue to remember my service in the Army, I remember on several different occasions coming back to Tuskegee and even flying the commanding general of Fort Benning here a number of years ago. I don't think anybody was here when he was here, but his name was H.R. McMaster. He actually retired as the national security for the previous administration, national security chief. But he was a man, and he was a white man, but he supported, not that there was anything wrong with that, but he was a white man that supported and understood the importance of minorities in combat arms. And he was a man that didn't see color. And when you get to know a lot of these officers, I will tell you there were a lot of other officers out there, many, many officers like H.R. McMaster. And whether you're white, black, green, yellow, whatever color you want to be, I will tell you that bombs and bullets do not discriminate. And in the time of war, and we see it now in the Ukraine, okay, that it doesn't matter what color you are, what race, creed, nationality, sex, sexual orientation, what have you, but when war starts and they're wearing the same uniform as you are or they're from the same country as you are, we're all joining together to defeat the enemy. So continue to look for opportunities as you move up in ranks to look back and provide mentorship to those cadets, those junior officers, and also our non-commissioned officers, which are the backbone of our Army. So now 28 years later, you all have given me the honor to speak at one of the most significant events of one's military career. And for you all, it's the beginning. Now, however, I did not come all the way from the Pentagon to talk about myself, but to celebrate these 6 military officers as they begin their careers. So I want to start with congratulating Air Force Second Lieutenant Raven Richmond, who is Branch Military Intelligence and is from Memphis, Tennessee. Let's give her a round of applause. Then I have here Army Second Lieutenant Yasmin Rose, who is also Branch Military Intelligence and is from Birmingham, Alabama. And I have Army Second Lieutenant Zalkari Thornton, who is Branch Quartermaster from Montgomery, Alabama. Army Second Lieutenant Joshua Gordon, Branched Engineers, and is also from Montgomery, Alabama. And Army Second Lieutenant Takia Frazier, who's branching and actually, and you know what? She's actually you all are actually yelling for me because Lieutenant Frazier is actually branching my favorite branch, which is armor, and she's from Los Angeles, California. And then I have Army Second Lieutenant Jonathan Andrews, who is branched aviation and is from Atlanta, Georgia. So all of these officers have successfully navigated all the requirements that both the Air Force and Army ROTC programs have placed in front of them to be commissioned as an officer in the United States military. Let's give them all one more round of applause. So, who are these future senior military leaders entering into service? I have to admit, the World Wide Web, specifically Google, were very helpful in my research. I was going to go by name, and then I found some digital footprints were very large, and some were not so large. So what I'll do is I'll mention attributes and let you all figure out who they are, not that you have to say their name out loud. But I will tell you that nearly all these officers, what I found on Google, made the 2021 Dean's List and the honor list that was published on 15 June 2020. Yeah, you can clap for that. That's a big accomplishment. You might clap for these other ones, I'm not sure. But someone had a Twitter background picture that stated it was all a dream. Someone mentioned that they support COVID-19 mitigation measures by commenting on a comment feed to stay 6 feet away from them. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Someone is one of 8 Alabama historically black college students selected as this year's class of Coca-Cola bottling company's Pay It Forward interns. One of you is a student trustee for Tuskegee. Someone did a presentation on Paul Rudolph, and Paul Rudolph actually was a major architect for Tuskegee. Someone's profile states that they're majoring in construction science management with a minor in business. I never knew Tuskegee had that. That's awesome. Someone's been running track since high school and competed in the long jump, high jump, the 200, 400 meters with a few first, second, third place finishes, and personal bests of 28.78 and 1 minute and 6 seconds, .07. They're like, oh my goodness, he's gone all the way back to my high school. This is what the internet does. Someone was highlighted in 2019 as the only ROTC cadet to jump out of a perfectly good airplane and earn their jump wings. and had a famous quote, "I didn't want to limit myself because of fear." Hooah. I know they're all getting kind of nervous, like, what else did he find? But looking throughout the web, I did see a number of photos in which many of you supported the Student Government Association, are leading your peers and subordinates not only in military, but also in academic events. The neat thing, too, is that all of you had numerous encouraging, positive comments with positive responses, and have several instances where you're already inspiring others. Now, I'll stop there as far as the World Wide Web goes, but I'll tell you that there are several lessons that we can all learn, not only from the web, but also our profiles. One thing I've learned is that all of you were very responsible with controlling your narrative in online appearance, which is very important in this day and age. And believe it or not, it is now starting to become one of the first things that not only civilian organizations, but now military organizations are reviewing once they hear a name concerning a new leader being assigned to their unit. Just think about that. So now that we know who you are, what advice can I give you as a future, so that you future senior leaders can not only get to my level, but go beyond? So what I've learned over the years is that most people do not remember a complete speech from a guest speaker at events such as this. You might remember who gave it. You might remember the introduction and the ending, but not usually the middle, which is where we're at. But I believe I can actually sum up the middle portion with 3 letters, P-I-E, PI. And this is something that an old Air Force 06 colonel told me about when I was in graduate school as a young captain. Yes, the Air Force. And the acronym PI stands for Performance, Image, and Exposure. And I will tell you that when you look at PI, I was able to leverage it to give me not only a different perspective, but also showing me that it wasn't not only my hard work that got me to the levels that I got to. Let me back up a little bit. Let me say that again. A different perspective, believing that not only my hard work will get me to success. So if it takes more than hard work, what could that be? So you saying you can't succeed in the Army or the Air Force on just hard work alone? You can get to some levels, but not senior levels. And yes, you will see in your military career that there will be some people that you have truly outperformed in every aspect. However, they may have out-networked you and wind up getting a job that you perceived you should have had. Relationships are key in navigating the military. And through these relationships, coupled with your hard work, opportunities will truly open up to you. So we'll start with performance. That's where your individual actions, like your hard work, is displayed and evaluated. Ideally, as officers, you must be masters of your craft, experts in your field, always studying and learning how to improve yourself, your subordinates, peers, and assisting your superiors. In military, it's physical fitness. That's very important, no matter what branch you are. It can also be associated with having a greater capacity to lead, your intellectual ability, knowledge, and also with the intellectual ability, knowledge, and understanding your doctrine, that will provide credibility to your leadership. So ideally, if your branch uses a great deal of military doctrine or has a field manual that you can memorize and recite, then in most cases, your subordinates, peers, and leaders will not question you when you accurately reference doctrine. So if I come up and I say, hey, what is the center of gravity, or what is the decisive point of this operation, or what is going on in Ukraine, or what is the target that we have to hit to either protect the enemy or to cause the enemy that's attacking them to capitulate or to end? Do you know the definition of center of gravity? I know we got a SAM student over there that can probably recite it very easily. He's nodding his head. I'm not going to put him on the spot, but I trust you. But that's the kind of level that we're looking for out of our leaders. Image. This is where the actual truth and perception either merge or diverge, coupled with the ability to see yourself and how others see you. And believe it or not, the way that you think about yourself may not necessarily be the way others think about you. So there are some obvious things when we talk about image, like your wear and care of the uniform, physical fitness, how you treat others, your integrity, which is actually a very big deal, professionalism. And also be aware that in many cases, perception can weigh more than the actual truth. And investigations into your leadership and command climate may or may not occur based on your image. Your reputation as an officer starts today, and it will grow immediately as you come on active duty, regardless of it being negative or positive. Make sure you establish feedback mechanisms so you can receive constructive and actionable information from your subordinates, peers, and for that matter, your superiors, so that you're always learning to improve yourself as well as others. Exposure. Establishing a positive reputation will open doors and will allow you to have several opportunities to be noticed by senior leaders. And that's obviously not only in the military, but also in the civilian realm. These actual senior leaders may even say something like, "Hey, stop by and see me," or "Who's mentoring you?" Make sure you take advantage of every opportunity to be mentored by senior leaders. And I will tell you, you will come in contact with senior leaders, and it might be inconvenient. They might tell you to come by and see them, and you don't want to do it, but you've got to press through, and you need to do it. You need to make these connections. So in order to make it, as I said earlier, to these senior positions, your reputation or perception of your reputation will begin to outweigh your performance and will open more doors of opportunity for you. Don't misunderstand me, you still need to perform, but after a certain rank and position, everyone's performance is actually pretty much the same. So the thing that will distinguish you truly are your networks and connections with those senior leaders. And they're the ones that will have to advocate for you when it comes to the senior boards. So in conclusion, I'm so very excited for all of you and your families. The very fact that you graduated from Mother Tuskegee and your respective ROTC programs mean that you're actually already expected to distinguish yourselves. You're already expected to operate at a high level once they find out what institution you came from. Tuskegee has a very, very big historical reputation in the Air Force and in the Army. That F-4 Phantom isn't sitting out in front of Chappie James for nothing. All right, and you see the wall of fames in both offices of the Army and the Air Force. All those general officers and colonels that have graduated this institution, there is a huge legacy that's already been paid for you. But I'm truly honored to have been your guest speaker, and I'm happy that after 28 plus years in the Army, this was the place where my career began, and this is where I can announce that it's coming to an end. So I'm now looking at you all to step up and take my place and surpass me, as well as others who have paved and even widened the path for you so that you all can achieve the highest levels you desire in the military. Now, I also want to thank my boss, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Army, the G8, Lieutenant General Peterson, for letting me come here. And he actually gave me something to give each one of you. This is an Army G8 coin. It actually looks like a number 8, and it's got 3 stars on there. So the first coin you get when coming on active duty, or being commissioned, I should say, as lieutenant, will be this G8 coin. So on that note, may God bless Mother Tuskegee. May God bless our Army and Air Force ROTC programs. May God bless our military. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all for coming.
All right, Colonel Plummer, thank you for those inspiring words. The presentation is from all of the cadets and cadre from the Air Force and the Army. Thank you again for those inspiring words. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Plummer will now administer the oath of office. American military officers have subscribed to essentially the same oath of office since 1776. The oath is steeped in tradition, and it is old as the profession of arms, tracing back to the allegiance sworn to kings and emperors. But the American oath is not sworn to any individual. The call of American officers is to support and defend the Constitution of our great nation, and that responsibility has not changed since our country's founding. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the administering of the oath.
picture? Okay.
Take as many as you want. We're here. We're here for you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our nation's newest second lieutenants. Please be seated. At this time, we will transition to the individual portion of our ceremony. The individual portion of our ceremony includes the rank pinning, the appointment certificate presentation, and the silver dollar salute. The silver dollar salute is a tradition that dates back to the colonial period and is thought to have originated with the British officers. Newly commissioned British officers were assigned an enlisted soldier to train them, to teach them the regiment's history and traditions, and to ensure they met appropriate standards. Grateful lieutenants often showed their heartfelt gratitude by informally compensating the enlisted man with a gold or silver currency. The tradition continues today, as newly commissioned officers present a silver dollar to the first enlisted member who salutes them. It is an acknowledgement from one professional to another. Welcome to our service and welcome to the profession of arms. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jonathan Andrews. It's good. You can clap on now. It's okay. Second Lieutenant John Andrews will be pinned by his mother, Jacqueline Andrews, and his father, Ira Andrews. Second Lieutenant Andrews is graduating from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He will be commissioned as an aviation officer and will be headed to Fort Rucker, Alabama for Aviation Basic Officer Leadership course after graduation. I don't know about the Air Force, but in the Army we have a tradition, and the last one doing the pinning got to kiss him on the mouth. Good. All right. Presenting Colonel Watson is presenting Lieutenant Andrews his certificate of appointment. And conducting Lieutenant Andrews' first salute will be Private First Class Kendarius Ivy. One more picture here together. Let's give it up for Lieutenant Jonathan Andrews. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jasmine Rose. I'm sorry. Second Lieutenant Jasmine Rose will be pinned by her mother, Gina Rose, and her uncle, Dexter Rose. She would also like to honor her grandmother, Iola Harris, who could not be in attendance today. Second Lieutenant Rose will be graduating from Tuskegee University with her Master's of Science in Occupational Therapy. She will be commissioning as a military intelligence officer and will be headed to Fort Huachuca, Arizona for her basic officer leadership course after graduation. All right. Okay, presenting her commission appointment certificate is Lieutenant Colonel Sherman Watson. All right. And conducting Second Lieutenant Rose's first salute is Sergeant First Class retired Mary Reese. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Takia Frazier. Second Lieutenant Frazier will be pinned by her mother, Takoya Frazier, and her father, Jerron Frazier. Second Lieutenant Frazier will be graduating from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor of Science in Construction Science and Management. She is being commissioned as an Armor Officer and is headed to Fort Benning, Georgia for Armor Basic Officer Leadership course after graduation. I think Pops want that kiss. Presenting her appointment certificate, Lieutenant Colonel Watson. And conducting Second Lieutenant Frazier's first salute is Master Sergeant Michael Simpkins. One more time for Lieutenant Frazier. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Joshua Gordon. Second Lieutenant Joshua Gordon will be penned by his mother, Brenda Tyler, and his grandmother, Maggie Cook. Lieutenant Gordon will be graduating from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor's of Science in Architecture with a minor in Construction Science Management. He is commissioned as an engineer officer and will be headed to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for Engineer Basic Officer Leadership course after graduation. It looks like a tie to me. Both of y'all get a good old kiss. Mr. Kenneth Watson will present the certificate of appointment. And conducting Lieutenant Gordon's first salute will be Command Sergeant Major Retired Jerome McCain. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Zachary Thornton. Zachary will be penned by his mother, Veronica Thornton, and his father, William Thornton. Lieutenant Thornton will be graduating from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science. He is being commissioned as a quartermaster officer in the Alabama National Guard Upon graduation, he will be headed to Fort Lee, Virginia for a basic officer leadership course. Colonel Watson presenting his certificate of appointment. And conducting Second Lieutenant Thornton's first salute is Staff Sergeant Davy L. Bruton. Old Zach always been tight with that dollar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Thornton. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Raven Richmond. Raven will be penned by her father, Reggie Richmond, and sister, Jessica Spite. Second Lieutenant Richmond will be graduating from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor of Science in Political Science and is being commissioned into the Air Force as an intelligence officer. After graduation, she will be headed to Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas, to attend intelligence officer training school. Presenting her appointment certificate is Lieutenant Colonel Michael King. And conducting Lieutenant Richmond's first salute is her mother, Petty Officer Second Class Janina Spite. All right. Lieutenant Richmond. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in one final round of applause for all of our newly commissioned second lieutenants. Absolutely, absolutely. I should have caught you while you were standing, but please stand. Please stand for the playing of the Army and Air Force service songs.
March along,
right, this concludes our ceremony. I'd like to thank you all for attending, and we ask that you join us in the rear in the foyer to congratulate these lieutenants and share some cake and punch with us. What do you need to do? What do you want to do?
She can get the same picture you need to get.
Okay.
I can stand in the background. Stand in the background. In the background.
Hey, outstanding, outstanding.
Thank you very much. All right.
So I was that far apart. Thank you, sir.
You're fine. You're fine. Uh-oh. Just know.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commissioning ceremony for Cadet Richmond will begin in 2 minutes. At this time, we would like everyone to find their seats and silence their cell phones in preparation for today's ceremony. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the men and women of the United States Air Force pay special tribute to Cadet Richmond on the occasion of her commissioning as a second lieutenant. The presiding officer for today's ceremony is the Commander, Air Force ROTC Detachment 015, Lieutenant Colonel Michael D. King. We extend a special welcome to family and guests and friends of Cadet Richmond. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this special event. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of Detachment 015, Lieutenant Colonel Michael D. King, will now give his remarks.
So somebody told me that my inject of obscure lyrics into speeches kind of was like that kind of got at you, and I can understand that, and I'll just start off by saying the world doesn't move to the beat of just one drum. For those of you that have seen Different Strokes, you'll catch that. But what are we here about? Well, first, thank you all for coming out. Thank you. I know this is a big occasion. There's a lot of things going on between the commencement and the commissioning. Thanks to Major Lawson for making the trip out, and I think that says something about the impact that you've had on the cadets, and especially this cadet for a few more seconds till we sign the paperwork. Raven Richmond. When I got to Tuskegee, I remember the energy that you demonstrated in the program. I remember you were the one that corralled people for study groups and all those things for the AFOQT and all sorts of things. And it's just such a huge impact. It's an honor that you asked us to have just another more intimate ceremony. So thank you for that. But I got to tell you all, if you are looking for a leader, it's not going to come in the form that you always expect. But I will tell you this: if you've got somebody that is as insightful as Raven Richmond, you would do well to listen to what she has to say to you, because it comes from a good place. It comes from a place of experience, intelligence, sometimes emotion, sure, but that's what makes great leaders. Somebody that is tied to what they're doing. And so thank you for doing that. And before we pin the bars on again, it's like we rewound a little bit, and that's cool, because you're still a cadet for a couple of more minutes. And so I can give you this award, which is one of the top awards that we give to cadets who have had an impact, who have made an impact over the last year, and it's the Air Force ROTC Meritorious Service Award. And when we think about who we're going to give this award to, we say, who has had that impact, who has done those things, provided that energy to the program, and Raven definitely did that. And we've had discussions throughout the semester, and as the Inspector General and Director of Staff, she's always tried to continue to push things forward. And then we had a pretty successul semester, in no small part due to your efforts. And so I want to give this to you. I know you can't wear the ribbon or anything, but 20 years from now or so, when you're putting together your shadow box, maybe you'll put this one in there, because there's no prohibitions against that. So I'm going to come down to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're going to pick it up
Yes.
now?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, that was it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. And let's get on with the...
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Lieutenant Colonel King publishes the commissioning order. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Cadet Raven Richmond. In view of these special qualities, she is appointed as a Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, effective 6 May 2022 by the order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Please be seated. Major Lawson and Cadet Richmond, please take your places in front of the flag, facing forward and centered. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Major Lawson administers the oath of office to Cadet Richmond. The certificate reads, "The President of the United States of America, to all who shall see these presents, greetings. Know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Raven Richmond, I do appoint her Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force to date, as such from the 6th day of May 2022. This officer will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of the office to which appointed by, doing and performing all manner of things thereunto belonging, and I do strictly charge and require those officers and other personnel of lesser rank to render such obedience as is due to an officer of this grade and position. And this officer is to observe and follow such orders and direction from time to time as may be given by the President of the United States of America or other superior officers. Acting in accordance with the laws of the United States of America, this commission is to continue in force during the pleasure of the President of the United States of America under provisions of the public laws relating to officers of the armed forces of the United States of America and the component thereof in which this appointment is made. The order of the Secretary of the United States Air Force, signed Frank Kendall III. Please be seated. Second Lieutenant Richmond's sister, Jessica Spite, and father, Reggie Richmond, will now pin her new rank on her service coat. Will the family please come forward? An enduring tradition for newly commissioned officers is the presentation of a silver dollar to the first enlisted member to salute them after commissioning. This tradition dates back to the colonial era and was adopted from the British Army. The American Army would pair its officers with experienced sergeants who mentored and guided the young officers, showed them the ropes, and taught them the regimental history as well as the ins and outs of military profession. The officers were provided an extra $1 a month to pay the sergeant who was mentoring them. Though this tradition has long passed, the symbolic presentation of a silver dollar continues. It acknowledges the receipt of respect due to the new rank and position and recognizes the important responsibility for mentoring newly commissioned officers. We are honored this evening to have in attendance Petty Officer Second Class Janina Spike, United States Navy. Second Lieutenant Richmond and Petty Officer Spike will join us now to receive and administer her first salute. Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Force is proud to introduce Second Lieutenant Richmond. Speech. It's yours, all yours.
It's been a long and trying time to get here. I am thankful for everyone that I've had in my corner. Day 015, my friends and family, thank you all for being here. You all know the struggle that I had to go through and what I had to endure to get to this point, and I am very thankful that I today have commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, and I hope that I will continue to make each and every one of you proud, and I'm glad to see what the future holds for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud of their newest second lieutenant and look forward to serving with her. This concludes today's ceremony. You may now take a moment to congratulate Second Lieutenant Richmond for accomplishing this milestone.